Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. This is your latest transfer news, and Arteta has spoken. That transfer window that's been so good for Arsenal may well not be over. He wants to do more and he doesn't want to lose anymore. So we'll be talking about that. Also, I mean, look, it's the big story in football. Kylian Mbappe not going on the tour with PSG, training with the kids. How is this going to resolve itself? Because Mbappe apparently is just going to wait a year and then leave for free. PSG want to do a deal. What's going to happen there? We'll talk about where he could be heading. Could he be heading to the Premier League? Harry Kane, PSG are interested, but Bayern Munich looking for a third bid there. And also, potentially, Liverpool fans looking at Fabinho as well if his Saudi Arabian adventure halts. So let's get straight into it. Obviously, we've got the pre-season stuff going on now. I'm going to be live on the United Stand tonight at 10 o'clock. If you fancy a watch-along, Man United against Arsenal in New York. We'll be live at 10 o'clock on the United Stand. But Arteta was speaking to the press ahead of that, and he was saying that in relation to transfers, they've done good business. They've had a quiet week. But yes, there could well be more deals to be done. They certainly don't want to be losing any more players. And Thomas Partey, he said, is part of his plans. This has always been the fear with Arsenal. It won't be a fear for Arsenal fans, but this has always been the fear with Arsenal, that because they've done their business quickly and efficiently with Timber, Rice and Havertz and spent 200 million, there is this assumption, well, that's it, it's done. I've been saying this for a while. I don't think it is done for Arsenal. Just because they've done the business quick and spent the 200 million pounds doesn't mean that they're not going to be looking for other opportunities. There's still 6 weeks left in this transfer window, and I think that Lavia is still an option for Arsenal to enter that race. I think another midfielder, even if Partey stays, would help them. And I think if there are deals there to be done for Arteta, I think they will go again. Look, ultimately, whether you like it or not, Arsenal's mentality last year was to win the league. Arsenal's mentality this summer is to go and win the league. And when you look at Manchester City, if you want to win the league, you've got to have a core of 17, 18 first-team players that you can rotate, and they come into your team and it's still strong. And I think Arteta's looking at that, and the club are looking at that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did go and make another significant signing that pushes their spend north of 250 million. They have clearly put out a message of intent to be the team that challenges Manchester City again. And I think that's what they're looking to do. Kylian Mbappe, it'd be wrong of me not to keep this as a high topic. So look, PSG basically leaving him out of their squad for the pre-season stuff. He's training with the youth, I think, and players that are up for sale. The story from Mbappe is that he will just run his contract down. There's a lot of money to be made by being a free agent in a year's time. A lot of money. But can he afford to do that and sit in the reserves for PSG and not play and just play games for France for a year? Can you afford to lose a year of your career? Can PSG afford to do that? There has to be a solution to this. PSG want to sell him. Mbappe is due so much money over the next year and next summer as a free agent that probably doesn't want to be sold because you'll miss out on a lot. Real Madrid are the only club in the race, apparently. So PSG don't get on with Real Madrid. So it's a bit of a mess, really, because it's not like... And Saudi Arabia has obviously been mentioned, but it's not like if Saudi Arabia come in or, you know, a rich Premier League club come in, that Mbappe will go. The end game has always been to go to Real Madrid. And I mean, I'm interested to see what people say in the comments, because to get hold of him, it's probably going to take 100 million quid. And then you're going to have to pay Mbappe a lot of money as well because of all the loyalty bonuses and everything he was going to get. It's just a massive amount of money, probably 200 million pounds, half of it going to Mbappe, half of it going to PSG. And who's got the money to do that? I can't for the life of me see that Mbappe would go to Saudi Arabia. And look, it's one thing, Ruben Neves, Jordan Henderson, Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema going to Saudi Arabia. The best player in the world going to Saudi Arabia would be just sad, I think. Nothing against Saudi Arabia, but look, you want to see Kylian Mbappe playing in the Champions League. You want to see Kylian Mbappe playing in a competitive European league. But look, I don't see him coming to the Premier League, and I think this is the downside of stupid money, isn't it? PSG put him on stupid money to keep him, and obviously there's loopholes in there that he goes for free, and it's just become a mess. But I think logically, this could well end with PSG playing him next season and him just going to Real Madrid on a free. or they're going to have to sell him on the cheap, just to try and get some money, which seems to be their angle. We'll have to wait and see with Mbappe, but I don't see any Premier League club coming close because I don't think he actually wants to go to a Premier League club. Does the Mbappe thing have an impact on the general transfer window? Well, I mean, PSG do need to replace players. Obviously, Messi's left and Mbappe leaves them without two major superstars. We know that they've been linked to Harry Kane, but Harry Kane seems to be very focused on Bayern Munich. This is an ongoing story as well that just needs some resolvement, really, a resolution, because it's destabilising to Spurs, who I think are going to have a very challenging season anyway. I would say Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Brighton. How many clubs are that? I think they're all ahead of Spurs as we start the season. So I think it's going to be a tough, and that's even if Spurs keep Harry Kane. So I think Spurs are already facing a season where you'd probably put them 8th or 9th. And if Harry Kane's going to go, then they need to transition quickly in relation to how they're going to play without him. So it's a weird one. Spurs fans will be mixed on this. Keep Kane for another year, lose him for a year, lose him for free. Other people will say get rid of him now. But the problem is it's Daniel Levy, it's Spurs, and there's nothing they like more than elongating a deal to try and get a little bit more money. But I've said this about United. If Bayern Munich are offering 80 and Spurs intent on getting 90 and they're going to wait till the end of August to get it, that £10 million you're going to make over 6 weeks, what's it worth when the window's closed and you can't get your replacements in? I mean, and I think that's the really important thing, and this is a problem that Spurs probably don't look at. We'll have to wait and see. But sticking with Bayern Munich, story today from Sky Germany that Fabinho could be going to Bayern Munich now. Obviously, massive deal of £40 million to go to Saudi Arabia. It's not actually happened yet. And there is talk that Bayern Munich might look at him if that deal falls through. Of course, Bayern Munich have been looking for a holding midfielder. They looked at Declan Rice. They looked at Caicedo. So Fabinho could well be an option for Tuchel's Bayern Munich, who are also expected to bring not just Harry Kane in, but they're also looking at Kyle Walker as well. So the Premier League assault from Tuchel continues. I think from Liverpool's point of view, I don't really think they care where Fabinho goes, as long as they get the 30-40 million quid that will allow them to go and get the holding midfielder that they want to get, which, of course, we were talking about at the start of the show, Lavia, Arsenal, Liverpool, as we were saying yesterday, still remain the big favourites for that. But it's interesting, this transfer window, this start to the Premier League season, we are sort of moving towards it now, 3 or 4 weeks until the start of the Premier League, 6 or so weeks until the closure of the transfer window. And I think we are heading towards a massively competitive season. I said this on Twitter today, and I'd be interested to see what your comments are below. What big team would you predict is going to have a disappointing season this year? Last year it was Liverpool and Chelsea. Who would you think out of the traditional big teams is going to have a bad season? Because somebody will. If you've got 6 big teams, 7 big teams, you finish 5th, 6th or 7th. That's not a good season, isn't it? And someone's got to do that. And I think at the moment for me it's Chelsea. I still think Chelsea are struggling under the Todd Boehly ownership to get their feet under the table. And what I mean by that is transfers still seem slow. Vision still seems muddied. And I think that next season for Pochettino is about getting his feet under the table and righting many of the wrongs and bringing some stability and consistency. And I just don't... I think there's too many clubs like Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, Newcastle, maybe even Aston Villa, maybe even Brighton, that are more stable and have more momentum from last season. So yeah, I think Chelsea need to get a bit of a move on there, really. Anyway, get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Tell us what you think about the new thumbnail style as well. At last, I won't have to just keep going like this on the thumbnail. We've actually got a thumbnail design, which is great. And I'll speak to you all in a bit. Take care. Oh, and please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. We're on that road to 1 million.